What's up, dude? How's it going, Geeky Pikachu? About to go to bed, huh? Yep. I don't know how well the stream's gonna hold up because we've got bad weather and could lose power. So what's going on, Mocktoad? Long time no see, bro. Yeah, dude, we got a lot of thunderstorms and hail and shit right now. But yeah, dude. You excited about the Beyond update, Mocktown? Hell yeah, dude. It's gonna be sick. I really, like, I'm super excited about VR. Saving up for a headset, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. What sounds cooler, dude? Cooler than VR? I don't know about that. Alright, what's going on, guys? See some people joining on the stream here. We should do a live stream this weekend. Yeah, dude, I'm down. I'm off on Sunday. So, if you're down with Sunday, I know that's Easter, I think, but if you're down, I'm down. Take care, Geeky. Nice of you to stop by, man. Alright, let's see what kind of missions I can do. What do you got? What do you got? Locate and destroy bounty target. Yes, that's my kind of mission. Let's see what you got, fella. Let's get my reward. That's the first time I've done a guild mission in a really long time. Probably since next updated, honestly. What the hell? What's going on, Dave? Panda After Dark. Yes, sir. I wanted to do some more exploration of Unabae. Particularly the planet called Delingle. Which is this lovely place right here. Let's get him. Are you playing anything right now, Dave, or are you chilling? I'm not. Whoa. Don't think I've ever seen my thing pick up a bounty that far away. That's weird. Let's do this. Hell yeah, I'll send an invite, bro. Let me land this little guy real quick, and I'll get that right over to you. Alright, gonna blue screen real quick, guys. Gonna go ahead and get Dave Langer in the chat here. Alright, Dave, you got that invite? Just jump in whenever you feel like it. Alright, let's explore this place. So, I discovered this planet a few weeks ago, and I did some exploration, but I didn't do any, like, heavy exploration. But what I did notice is this planet had some really tremendous caves, and so I kind of want to check those out. So, maybe we might find some cool things. The caves are quite large. The underwater caves are quite large, and a lot of them lead back, it seems like, under the planet's surface. And so you can go underwater and then end up in these really cool caverns. But, hey Dave.
Hey!
Got You Are Godsmack in the chat. Says, hey traveling friends, sick at home, but at least I can check out the stream and build a little on Behemoth today. Dude, hell yeah, that's what's up. Sorry that you're sick, though. What you been up to, Dave?
Not too much, not too much.
So just got done playing some Big Show?
MLB The Show. Yeah, doing a rebuilding of a crappy team.
So I'm on obviously No Man's Sky. I'm on this planet called Delingle, which is my favorite planet right now. To do underwater exploration. It's got really interesting caves, and I've just been like trying to land on different parts of the planet, go underwater, and then see if I can kind of find anything cool.
Cool.
What I've noticed is a lot of the caves actually lead back under the continent or whatever, and then you can end up in these really large caverns and find your way back up to the planet's surface from the ocean. But yeah.
Yeah, when it first dropped Next, I think I found a planet like that, but I can't find it anymore. But you find like a hole in the planet, and it would go to like a giant cavern of water and everything.
Yep. That's pretty much how this planet is. And if you follow them far enough, like I said, you'll end back up underneath one of the continents or whatever, and it opens up into these big caves with like underground lakes and things like that. They're really interesting planet. Let's see if I can recharge my hazard protection right now. I was like, wait, why can't I find it? Wrong stat. There we go. I've got a feeling this cave is going to dead end fairly quickly. What did you think about that update from No Man's Sky for PC with Vulkan support?
Yeah, they're probably just getting prepped for VR because of the issues the AMD cards had with the game, how it ran like crap. So they have to fix that before they can, even try running VR.
Right. Because I don't know much about the PC side of things, but that was specifically for computers running AMD graphics cards, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember people when No Man's Sky first came out, even in like vanilla, people that had AMD cards were complaining how it wouldn't run very well, and they never optimized the AMD cards very well for No Man's Sky for some reason. But now they kind of have to.
Yeah, it seems like they have to do a lot of optimizations. It's like VR has forced them to make the game perform better on all
Right.
platforms. So I wonder how much they had to change things within the engine.
Well, like, you know how, like, is it like Xbox One X or like our PS4 Pro, how they have that tessellation, but like, I think the lower ones don't have it, right?
Right, the Xbox One X, yeah.
Or, or at one point, like, they had tessellation, but like the base ones couldn't handle it, so they didn't, put it in. So it could be like, that type of stuff when it goes to VR, they'll probably, take that kind of stuff out that you won't really notice too much, just to get it to run, better.
And it's sort of like they'll kind of kick that kind of thing in when VR is engaged, right? So it'll kind of scale things back just to get better
Right.
frame rates and things.
Yeah, exactly. Like too how like maybe they'll have to cap like if you go into settings, how far you can see because people are saying how it's like kind of blurry in the distance on VR because like you don't really need that for VR because you're more, curious of what you see in front of you and not like way off in the horizon. So just stuff like that they can cut back on to like, make it run better.
Right. I wonder how close we are to them making the announcement of the third component of the update. Like, are we gonna wait a couple months before we hear about that, or like, is that coming soon, kind of thing?
Well, see, I think like this week the announcement was like the whole like PC thing, and they keep like dropping like little small tidbits. So the tier 3 might not be until right before it comes out.
Right.
I hope not, but I mean, and I'm kind of getting worried about like what they're gonna announce. Like, people keep saying, "Oh, it might be like the Apple gaming or like mobile." Like if that's that third tier, I'll be super disappointed.
I don't think it
Because,
is.
because it'll mean like, oh, they didn't like basically like they did like an online update, a VR update, and then oh, it's gonna be on mobile and Apple TV. It's like I don't know. I really hope that we're not getting that because that would mean like we're not getting a big update for the game. They're
Has
just like adding features basically.
has Inside Xbox happened yet?
Yeah, it happened yesterday.
And nothing was announced then, obviously, right?
No,
So I
no.
mean, here's the thing: if it was anything that had to do with a new console release or going onto a new platform or anything like that, there's been so many opportunities for them to bring that up, from like different gaming award shows to the
Oh, yeah, and the Apple
PlayStation.
had their big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I really do think that we're going to get like a God. This is a huge cave here.
All right, let me
I
see.
really do think that we are going to get like what do you call it, like more variety and things like that. I hope we
I
get
hope you're right.
better weather animations like that. To me, that's got to happen. Like you know what I mean? Like I want to see like lightning hit the ground. I want to see like things like that,
Hmm.
or not
And I
even
think
hit the ground necessarily, but just strike in the distance. I think would make a really big
yeah,
difference. And
right. Like in Fallout 4, how they have like that like better weather patterns, like for the what do you call it? Um, the mod they have, they do a good job with the weather.
Holy shit. Wow. Sorry, bro.
Oh, you're
Um,
fine. Um,
got
and
Vasco
I
in the
see people
chat. Hey,
talking
says,
about.
hey,
Okay.
just woke up. What's going on, dude? Welcome. You are Godsmack says, I bought Dreams Thursday. So cool. Yeah, dude, the whole concept of Dreams is sick. But anyway, what were you
It's only
saying, Dave?
$25. I bought it.
Oh, that's all?
Um, yeah, it's early access. It's $25, and when the full game comes out, you'll get the free update. So I would definitely pick it up now if you want to save like $25 when the full game comes out. But yeah, I see people again talking on Twitter about like how they hope it's not going to be another reset, which I just don't get. You know,
A big
I
part of
I
it is you have
think a
like,
reset will help the game get better.
yeah, but it'll, a big reset will also be an indicator that a lot of like there's a lot of major changes. Um, the resets are kind of scary for hubs, right? Because it means that they've usually got to regroup and figure everything out again, which in a way can be kind of fun sometimes. But I
Hmm.
don't think they're going to do it because they've made way too many references of being able to like visit your bases and load up in your old saves and things like that. There's just way too many
All
call
right.
outs to that. So I don't
Yeah.
see that really happening.
Well, if that is true, that means that they didn't really. How are they going to do it for a variation update then? Like they can't like do a like better terrain, or how they can add in like waterfalls or volcanoes or even like multiple biomes. Um, with other reset, we probably can't get much of that.
Not necessarily true because like if you think about like this cave I'm in right now in the stream, for example, like
Hmm.
caves like this did not exist before the Abyss update. So that they were able to completely like revamp the terrain, add new flora, fauna, textures, like with visions they were able to increase the number of unique biomes, things like that. So that they're clearly able to make a lot of changes within this existing build without having to reset players' stuff. And like with having multiple biomes on a single planet, that
Hmm.
could be as easily solved as just increasing the number of planets that can exist in a solar system to like instead of six, maybe like nine or something, right? And then but that way you're not resetting
Well,
existing planets, you're just introducing new ones.
right, because like Abyss and Visions was a soft reset because with the Abyss they only reset the water planets, and with Visions they only reset the exotic planets.
Right.
So like they didn't reset everything, but they did reset some planets. So I mean, I don't know if they could just say, okay, if like a planet is discovered, don't touch it. But if it's not, then like like you can change it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I've been saying it for a while, but like I don't think that they have to do those resets anymore. I think the way that they've got the game built and whatever changes they made for next allows them to implement a lot of changes without resetting the game.
Well, we say reset, like we're not talking about like resetting like what we have, like our ships or whatever, or our bases, but like resetting the terrain or what the planet looks like or like the solar system, right? Or
Right.
like, what are you talking about when you say reset? Because like some people talk about a reset meaning like, oh, we're gonna lose everything,
No,
or
not
just
like
like
not like
what
wiping out
what
your
our planet will
progress or
look
anything.
like.
Yeah, you know, like I don't think that the changes will necessarily require that. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Um, because
I,
as long as they let people, like when Atlas came out to Next, you could just like put your base down like how you had it on the planet that got reset, If they just do that, I think most people might be like okay with that.
Right. Well, I think that their focus now, because I think the game like looks fine. It just needs more shit, and I think that they can add
I
more
agree.
shit without necessarily like affecting a lot of things. Because I think that's really what players are hungry for. Like, I don't think players necessarily need visual changes. Some of them might sort of, they've been crying to go back to that, like, E3 look. I don't necessarily care for that look compared to
They
this.
can fix that easily
But,
though. All they have to do is just bring back the filters that you can play with. That way you could have like the pastel, like old school filter that would
right.
change a color to look like that, or have the current color be a filter. I'm not sure why they took that out,
Yeah, I don't know. Um,
but
I never, like, I liked that look, but after, Pathfinder, I kind of quit caring about it. Like I think the game has looked better since Pathfinder.
I
I
agree. It looks way better, I think, too.
Yeah, I think we're probably like in the minority on that. But um, I don't know. I just don't I don't see them needing to make like huge changes, man. I really don't. I think it's just like give us more shit. Like change the mission structure, make community events. Revamp that a little bit.
Yep.
um, Add more biomes, add more like weather events, better animations. I'm really excited about walking NPCs. I think that that'll just go a long way to make the universe feel more alive and lived in.
I don't have big hopes for walking NPCs.
You think it's gonna look
Meaning,
janky?
like, I think it'll be just like if you watch that one video where they have the walking NPC, like every NPC but one is static. So I mean, I'm
Allegedly
wondering if
walking NPC.
right, allegedly. So I mean, even if they have walking NPCs, they might just have like one set route where they walk, like in like old school like role playing games where they'll walk like in a seven or a square. Um, it probably won't be like anything like too um, because it's procedural, so they really can't have like like what's that game that came out like Skyrim or like Witcher. They're not gonna have like that kind of like walking NPCs because they really can't. But it'll be more like old school, like like the first Final Fantasy. It'll probably be more like that.
Right. I don't know.
But
I don't know. I think they'll surprise us because to be fair,
hmm
I had a feeling for a long time that in next we were going to get a third person mode and customizable player models. I had made several videos
yeah,
about that like several months before other people were
yeah,
speculating on that because I thought that that was the more logical progression for the game. But
all right.
I honestly did not see them accomplishing it that well. Like I didn't really think they would pull it off as good as they pulled it
Oh, I
off.
agree. Yeah, their player model, like we talked about the player models, like before they showed it, and like no one thought they would look as good as they did. Um,
Yeah, they
so I'm
absolutely
surprised
killed it.
how good they came out. They killed it with that, which
I mean
well,
the
actually, to your point,
movements, everything.
I mean, I guess to your point because like you're right because they do have like Shyamara's wife. She did work for what that Fable company? What's it called?
Lion's Head.
Lions, right? So I mean, I think with people like her working there, they could probably like have some good walking NPCs. So maybe you're probably right.
Yeah, because Sean Murray, like I think that his main focus at first when No Man's Sky was coming out was to build the engine, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But like they were working with something very experimental, and I think that really, I think that if you remember the original story about how they were working on like a new Joe Danger game, and
Yep.
a studio in London like came to like interview Sean Murray, and there was like glimpses of No Man's Sky in the background, and that's kind of where like everything really started, right? Like
Hmm.
this whole thing for No Man's Sky. I think that they hadn't intended on like letting people know about it as early as they did because they were experimenting with all sorts of different versions of the procedural generation,
Right.
engine and all that kind of stuff. And I think the game was like released way too early, like
Well,
years
they had
too
that
early.
flood too, which kind of fucked them over.
Well, yeah, they lost a lot of data.
They left a lot of debt, so basically they were working from like an older, like like an older, what do you call it, a version of the a code.
Right. And I think now that like really the release has been like a blessing in a way because their reputation was like so damaged by the release of the game that it enabled them to sort of like hide away and then just keep working on it
Right.
without anybody knowing really what was going on. And seeing these like sorts of improvements, I bet if they were allowed to delay the game and keep pushing off the release of the game, we could have had something. Well, maybe not. The game was such a large departure from what they originally advertised that maybe it took a failed launch to get this out of the game. I don't know. My feelings on that always change. God, this
Well, I
planet's
mean,
amazing.
but even
Uh,
if you listen to his
just
old interviews,
just real quick. So Viscarm says,
okay,
uh, "That's a gnarly big underwater cave." Yeah, dude, it's sick, bro. This planet has the sickest caves, like 100%. It also has like these dragon creatures that like swoop down and like essentially like graze the grass on the floor. You'll see them. Um, we got Pwn Stream in the chat says hello. What is going on, Pwn Stream? Thanks for swinging by. But sorry to interrupt, Dave. Go ahead.
oh no, you check him first, dude. Um, if you listen to the interviews beforehand, like they had a ton of ideas about like what they wanted to do, with like even like, with like base building and stuff like that. They talked about, in those what's that guy's name from GameStop or GameSpot? I forget his name, but like he had interviews with that guy, and he's like, yeah, we got a ton of ideas what we want to do, but right now they're trying to get the game out, and like everything will be in at launch, but it'll get there little by little, basically, and like it has.
Yeah, there was it's unfortunate that so the way that Sword put it to me like was there may have been some interviews where before the game came out they kind of backpedaled it, but they were small kind of not very well-known interviews,
Right.
and there was a lot more interviews where he didn't say it, and I think that's a really good point. But he
Like
did
on
start,
Colbert.
yeah, like he did start saying towards the release date that like one of my favorite quotes from Sean was a lot is possible in No Man's Sky, but not everything is possible in No Man's Sky. That they got big ideas for the future, and they can't
Right.
wait to add more to the game if the community like loves the game and allows them to do that and supports them, adding content. I remember them doing a presentation in a room for people where they discussed before the game even came out the possibility of adding exocraft vehicles and freighters and the ability to build
Right.
bases and settlements. So all of that stuff was being talked about before the game even came out. I think that they've had this roadmap for a while.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is when what was it like? The game first came out, they had a different version of the game running, which turned out to be like like next with the portals and shit working. So they always had like two different builds running at the same time. Basically, they had like the one we got, the scaled back one, and then the one that had the stuff they were trying to like get to work that they couldn't get to work just yet.
Right. Well, and Sean Murray has stated that he tends to have people that he compartmentalizes the work, so he might have the team split into different
Right.
areas working on different things. And when I was watching the interview about Beyond, or no, I was actually reading the transcript of an interview regarding Beyond. He said that the way that Beyond came about was that they were working on more regular updates with Next, like how they've always talked about doing and how they were doing for a while. But one team was showing him like, hey, they've got VR working and it's pretty cool, and another team was
Right.
showing him that, hey, we've got this thing figured out, we've got online, different, and and he was like, it was really exciting, and then they decided to blend all three of those updates together into one massive update. So
Right.
he's always got the team sort of fractured into these different areas where like they're all doing different things, and I think that's actually been a really helpful format because they're compartmentalized and they're not polluting each other's like projects and ideas process. So
Hmm.
all these different teams are coming up with all these different things independently, and then Sean Murray's like, all right, cool, now let's figure out how to fucking stitch those things together and get that to work. I just feel like the updates are always bigger than we think they're going to be, and then we're always afraid that we're like over speculating about what's going to happen, and then whatever happens is so much larger than we thought.
Right.
It's just like that. It always seems to play out that way.
Which is good because when the game first came out, like I think we're all used to being. I mean, okay, it's better to be that way than before the game came out saying, "Oh, it's gonna have this and that." Then it had none of that.
Right.
So I think it's better to like control what we think will be in the game, and then when it's like better, we're like, "Oh, okay, that's freaking awesome." That way, they don't get crap for being like, "Well, what the hell? You said this, and now we're not getting that." You know?
Yeah. I mean, with the launch, there was like a lot of regrettable things, but there was a lot of things that people were saying that like they didn't even say it was going to be in the game. That's what pisses me off the most.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And then there's people now that are like, you know, well, submerged relic. The fuck is that? Oh, chloride lattice. There's people now that are saying, oh, the game is finally like what it should have been when it came out. And it's like, no, you obviously are a bandwagoner and you haven't been following the development of this game because this game is such a far departure from the original vision that they had for this that you don't know what the fuck
Right.
you're talking about. Like, this isn't the game that they wanted to make. Sean Murray
Right.
wanted this to be a lonely experience, and this is far from that,
Yeah, I would say the game that they wanted to put out would probably be like Atlas Rises, like minus the orbs. If if they could have like put the game out in any state, it probably would have been that state.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Yeah,
a very good point.
I think everything after Atlas was like
Based on the community.
them basing upon the community what we wanted. Yeah,
And that's a really good point. If they could travel back to 2016 and release Atlas Rises, no one would have said a
as a
fucking word.
game. Exactly. So if they could have pushed the game back a year, um, you know, to when Atlas came out, I think they would have been like, okay. But if that happened, would they be where they are right now? Probably not. Because people probably would have been like, okay, that's a fun game, we're done. They probably move on. Whereas by them putting out like small updates, like 3 months, 3 months, 6 months, and a year, with like next, um, it had a pretty big comeback where people are like, oh, okay, where can they go next? And people really aren't moving on. People keep coming back to the game.
Yeah, it's yeah. If you think about how many like I've only got 800 hours in the game, and to me like that feels like a lot because
Yeah.
I feel like I play this game all the time. But there's people with
Hmm.
like thousands of hours
I
that
got like over 2,000.
yeah, that have like gone through so many different emotional points in the game. I mean, to keep people playing for this length of time is an achievement on its own. You know what I mean?
I agree. And that's the other thing too that kind of like ticks me off is when people that trash the game and then it's like, well, how many hours do you have in the game? They're like, oh, like 80. It's like, dude, what other game do you get friggin' 80 hours of gameplay out of? and people are complaining, but they'll like, tongue bath a game that's like 15 hours. You know,
Right.
I
It's
don't
like
get it.
you hardly have anything invested at that point. We've got
Right.
Enrico Bandito in the chat. Says, "What's up? What's going on, Enrico Bandito? Thanks for stopping by, dude." It's me and special guest Dave Langer in the chat. Just talking about beyond all kinds of different things, releasing No Man's Sky. So I appreciate you guys being here. Every now and again, I like to pull these like midnight snack streams where, I've had a chance to spend the whole day with the wife and take care of business and business in that regard. And when she finally goes to bed, I come out here and play a little bit of No Man's Sky and try to hang out with you guys. And so I appreciate you guys showing up in the chat. I know this is like my least populous time frame to stream, but that also keeps it chill and allows me to be able to still hang out with you guys and follow the chat and read the chat, but still enjoy the gameplay process as well. So, like I said, appreciate you guys being here. Big shout out to Enrico Bendito. It's good to see you around. Same thing with Vascar and You Are Godsmack. Dave Langer, I appreciate you being in the chat.
Oh, no problem.
We've got a little bit of lore here on the screen. So it says, as I touch the obelisk, images of the planet's ancient past flood my mind. The terrible beginnings of the Gek have been absorbed by this strange stone, and their tale seems desperate to escape. Korvax Prime was a vast and precious landscape of mineral ore and power. By right of universal rule, the Firstborn claimed dominion over the planet, yet the credulous and feeble Korvax refused to accept their conquest. They denied progress. This, their greatest folly. Seek knowledge of the past. Historical data revealed. But no, this game has terrific lore, man. I would like to. I wish they had cinematics in the game that like showed Korvax Prime and like you could kind of see. But at the same time, I do like that just you could be wandering around and then come across like a relic that tells you about what happened in the universe. It's like I wish they had like cutscenes, but then at the same time, I'm glad they don't. It's kind of like this weird dichotomy.
Yeah, but your imagination is probably better than what they could come up with.
I think so, yeah.
You know, it's like in a horror movie, like when they don't show like what like chasing somebody or killing people. It's like more horrific than when they show it. Like, oh, that's what it looks like. It's like,
Yeah, there's a famous quote by Stephen King about that regarding the scariest monster is the monster behind the door, the one that you can't see, you know it's there.
exactly.
That's not the quote, but that's the essence of it. But that makes a lot of sense. It's like it's more interesting because it's not shown to me. It's not revealed. It's
Right.
I come
Exactly.
across it and then I get to imagine what happened. This planet's just friggin' awesome. I did see some calm balls, so I'm gonna go check those out. I feel like some people may have stopped by here. I put this in the FDI wiki, and people kind of flipped out about it. They're liking this planet. I know Marty Merrick did a few exploration streams of this planet, and it's really sick. For anybody that's watching that like has been liking what they're seeing about this planet so far, I'm gonna put a signal booster down, and I'm gonna let that chill for a second so you guys can get the coordinates, and you can convert those to portal glyphs and come check this planet out because it's a really awesome planet with really cool creatures, awesome caves, both in water and on land. I'm gonna check some land caves out here in a second, and then we'll kind of move on to the next planet. Um, we've got Forever Reader 42 in the chat. Says morning, Panda from Denmark. What is going on, dude? Good morning. Thank you for stopping by,
Denmark,
bro.
awesome.
Yeah, dude, super cool. So I guess that is one of the nice things is at this time of night here, the UK and other places, it's early in the morning or around midday. So
Great.
says cannot
See,
wait
like,
to play No Man's Sky in VR. Me either. You know, people, Dave, gave me so much shit during the last ARG about the whole wear thing.
But
Um,
they were wrong though for the ARG though. I mean, those people annoy me.
well, they were saying that the wear thing wasn't about VR, and then here we are with VR coming this year, like this summer, like within the next
Oh,
few months.
I'm saying the people that were saying, "Oh yeah, see, I told you, where it was about VR." It's like, no, if it was, it would have came out like during next, not now. It's just like,
You don't think so, man?
no.
Like you don't think that that's kind of when they felt like they had it stable enough that they could sort of. You don't think they were working on it even then?
Oh no, what I'm saying is, I don't think that the whole wear thing hinted towards VR being put in the game.
What did you think it was
It,
then?
it was just part of the ARG, and part of the lore of the game, because all the people that were in wear, they all freaking died.
Oh, that's
So what?
true. They
Are
got
people
stuck
gonna
in
put on their
helmets.
VR headset, and are they gonna die? No. It was just like this lore, and then like Sean said, people were just like dinking around with VR and like, oh hey, this might work. After over the past year when that came out, and they got it to work, they're like, oh, let's put it in the game.
I could see that because yeah, the because the whole lore about the game is related to simulation, and the people went into a simulation and their minds essentially got stuck. Right? Is kind of how that went.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
makes sense.
because the thing is, like, let's say if VR didn't come out this year or it came out next year, they could claim the same thing, you know.
That's true.
So
I do miss the ARG, but I guess when they asked a lot of
I
people
don't.
if they wanted that, I guess a lot of people were like maybe there was some fatigue regarding the ARG. I enjoyed it. It kind of gave me something to do outside the game because I was one of those people where
Hmm.
like I was like trying to research the puzzles. Like I was in the CSD forum before I got kicked out. Like trying to solve everything.
Oh, on what do you call it?
The CSD forums. It,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
used it
yeah.
used to be the anyway.
But like the only time I had fun with the ARG was the 48-hour stream they had for the first one, and then like the last like couple of days of the one we just had, where they had like people like Kyle Clover, who's freaking awesome, like come on, try to solve the puzzle, like why they're online, talking to the people trapped in like trapped in the what do you call it? What do you call that thing they were trapped in? You just said it.
The for simulation.
Yeah, it's the simulation. Like those are cool, but like a lot of the crap that dragged on forever was just like boring. It's just like,
I liked it. I liked it because it gave me something to do when I wasn't playing it. I could like research that
hmm
stuff at work and like I was like following it on different YouTube videos when I was in the car. For me it was kind of exciting.
yeah, no, I hear you.
But yeah, I know a
Like
lot of people hated it.
if the VR was only a couple weeks, like before the release, I think it'd be a lot better. But making it like a month or 2 months or 3 months, it's kind of like no, I'm all set with that.
Right. Well, also the only thing that I don't like about people when they say that they didn't like the ARG is people who felt like the ARG was preventing the update from coming out.
That's just not
That's
true.
yeah. It's like I get not liking the ARG, but thinking that it's preventing you from getting your updates is dumb.
Yep.
I know there's a biped somewhere. Where is he? Or a quadruped? Where the fuck is it?
Oh wow, I've never seen things fly that close to the ground before.
Yeah, these dragons, their bellies like literally graze the grass.
But
Oh, this is where me and Stark found that really good cavern. I'm about to check it out again. See if I can remember how to get to that underwater lake.
I will say also like the PS4 Pro, like playing on that, like the detail is like a lot better than the PS4 base. Just like the extra filter they put on the game.
Hmm.
Um, like on a Cold Planet, for example, how like the frost going over your thing, it's like way more detail. I'm like, is the game fucking up or is that just the frost? I'm like, what the hell? But yeah.
The what am I trying to say? You should see it with HDR on the PS4 Pro.
Yeah, my TV for some reason it doesn't work right. Even though I have HDR, it doesn't like it'll say, "Oh, it's not compatible," even though it should be. But I think it's a what do you call it problem with my TV brand.
You
I have a
may
Vizio.
well, some TVs also you have to plug it into the right port because sometimes
Yeah,
only
it's in the
one of
gaming
the
port. Yeah,
try a different port because
a different port. Okay.
yeah, because one of the ports, like I could be wrong, but I think in order to do HDR, one of the ports has to be an HDMI 2.1, and sometimes some TVs only one of the ports is that port, and usually it's
Yeah,
this.
that's what I have it in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I put it in that one.
usually it's the
Yeah.
port that supports ARC is the easiest way to tell, but
Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I need to find that other comm ball. I can't remember how we got to that underwater cavern. That thing was like it literally like you emerge from a full-blown underwater lake into a cave so large that like in order to escape it, we had to like fly across this deep like crevice into like a
Mhm.
little hole through the other side and make our way back up to the surface. It was like the gnarliest cave I've ever seen. And I think I'm actually heading the right way now. Oh, that'd be so sick if I could recreate that adventure. It was me and Stark Wolf, and it literally was like one of the best moments of exploration I've had in the game since launch. It was like that's my favorite thing
Yeah,
about
No
this
Man's Sky
game.
needs more of that kind of stuff in the game, in the update.
It does. It like the game's about exploration. All this other stuff is cool, like building settlements and like freighters and shit.
Yep.
But like it's this like what I'm doing right now. Like this is why I play this game.
Yeah, Legacy Zero had a good video on that about like what they need for like exploration, like to give us a reason to like go exploring. Like his big example with him, his big example was like the portals back in like Atlas Rises. What's it? Where like they didn't work, but like finding one was like an adventure to like, and when you find it, like holy crap, I found a portal, you know. And trying to figure out how it worked, if it didn't really work, was still like a huge like fun part of the game. They need more stuff like that in the update.
I think I found it. I think I'm in the area, or at least a similar one. No, they do need more stuff like that. Also, just
Like
real
dungeons would
quick
be like,
shout
go
out
ahead.
to Legacy Zero. I've been
Yeah, he's
noticing
awesome.
that he this is the same exact spot. This is it. Holy shit. Um, I've been noticing that his like content, like the viewer numbers, have not been as high as they have been in the past, and I don't know what the
Hmm.
deal is with that. But guys, if you're in this chat right now and you're not subscribed to Legacy Zero or you're not watching his content, you're fucking up. because like he approaches everything with such logic and like such grace, and
Hmm.
like he's a fan of the game, but he can be critical at times and he can be very complimentary at times, and that's a good signature of somebody who's telling the truth, who's not just going with feeding off of what the community's feeling like, because a lot of what he talks about, you know, a lot of people don't like, but it's a great channel, um, great editing, and he just has a way about talking about a lot of these things. And I'd be very surprised if you guys aren't familiar with Legacy Zero, but if you're not, check him out, dude. It trust me, it's worth it. Sub, I love Legacy.
Yeah, he's great. But like how like people like in the game like dungeons and stuff, um, they should put them in the game, but make them like super rare, where you have to like seek them out. Um, and when you go through it, make something like worthwhile at the end of it, like a multi-tool or like something, some kind of tech that's like super rare that you can only get it by finding a dungeon and then like going through it and like getting to the end.
Right. Yeah. Anything that they do, it has to be rare. And I I hate this community at times. Like here's what I mean. The game comes out and people can't find lush planets. They can't find them. It's hard to find lush planets. You
As it
remember
should
this
be.
from the
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah.
You could warp in some cases 20 times, 25 times before you came across a lush planet. That's just how it was. But
Which I like that.
when you found the lush planet, it was like, holy fuck, I found one. And
Right.
just like Diplos, everybody's probably seen them by now, but they're still so hard to come by that
They are. Yeah.
when you come across them, you're like, holy hell yeah, you know. There are people who've been playing the game since launch who has still have not come across Diplos just on their own explorations yet.
Right.
That
Exactly.
that's what we need. Like that's what needs
I
to be
agree.
happening. But this community, they reached out and they complained on social media and everything, and they said, "Oh, there's not enough lush planets. Everywhere I go, it's just a dead rock, so on and so on and so on." So
Yeah.
Sean
That's how they
Murray
ruin. Yeah.
and Hello Games, they listen to the community, and then they fix it, and then they add a fuck ton of lush planets, and they make everything easy to find. So then what does the community do? They turn around, they go, "Oh, everything's too easy to find. Nothing seems rare anymore. I can, you know, da 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 da." It's like, okay, well, what do you want then? like, you want to
Yeah.
get it,
That.
but you
That.
don't want to put in the work. But then now that it's there all the time, it doesn't feel rewarding. So then now you're complaining.
All right. That's one of my biggest issues with like the community, how like or with like Hello Games, how they cater to like the vocal minority, and like they kind of like ruin the game, so to speak, by making stuff too easy to like do, like you said. Um, Also too, how people will complain about how it was hard to find like some like certain like S class tech or whatever, how like we would have to like map it out and like and like I, I forgot what it was. There's one thing like in Atlas that took me like I think like 40 hours to find it. Um, like the tech I wanted. And when I got it, I was like, holy crap, friggin' awesome. But now you can get that tech like super easy in every system almost, which breaks the friggin' game.
Yeah,
It's like make the best tech super rare to find or hard to find. And like what I would do, like I said before, I want like a leveling system where you have to like level to like use certain tech, but also put all like the best tech like near the center of the universe, so you have to travel there to like get it. Um, that way you give people a reason to like travel to the center, to like get better tech or better ships. Make all the crappy ships like further away. You might, put a couple like cool ones here and there, like, on the way, but like you shouldn't have everything like, um anywhere in the game. That just I don't I don't like that.
Well, also, I want to be able to catalog my travels and be able to get to places that I want to get to more easily. Like
Hmm.
allow me to create a folder of lush planets, a folder of desert planets, with
Yeah, I agree.
coordinates and waypoints and like ways to get back. I don't care if I don't have a teleporting system. I don't care if I don't have a terminus. I don't care if they deactivate portals. As long as I can catalog my findings and I can have a way to get back to them, I'm happy. Um,
Right.
uh, Zvareader42 says in the chat, I read an article with Sean where he told, basically he said that they were working on VR even before the next update. Yeah, actually, they were trying to get
It's in the
VR to work.
files in the original game.
Yeah, they were trying to get it to work even before the game came out. That there was actually
Yeah.
pictures of people in the studio uh, trying to play No Man's Sky with a VR headset on, but it didn't work well.
Yeah.
So, I think that it's something that they've been wanting to do for a while. But the thing with VR is VR can be so disorienting that like it has to be done well. You have to get it right. Execution has to be
Right.
perfect. Otherwise, you're going to have millions of people vomiting everywhere. And based on what we've been told so far by people who've played No Man's Sky in VR, I still don't think that they've played Beyond. But that's another topic. But
Yeah.
everybody's saying that
I
it's
hope
executed
they haven't.
perfectly.
But that's on the PS4 Pro though, right? So I'm curious how it's going to run on the base PS4.
Yeah, they may have been playing a version of Beyond, um, but with certain features turned off, because they're probably, afraid that some of that might leak.
Oh no, right. I'm just saying like with the VR in general. I'm just saying that I do like it might run decent on the PS4 Pro, but I do wonder how it's going to run on the base PS4. Or how much more they'll have to turn down like the settings for it to run pretty decently on the PS on the base.
Well, probably my guess is a lot because, I mean, PlayStation VR already like compared to like Rift or Vive looks terrible,
Hmm.
right? Like visually, like
Right.
it's not that great. The the thing with VR is it's not really about that. It's about the immersion.
Hmm.
So if it's executed properly, which like I said, it sounds like it is. Um, I'm okay with the graphical hits that we'll have to take in order to get that level of immersion. I mean, for example, like this cave. Like if you just picture yourself being in this cave, but you're in this cave in VR.
Hmm.
I'm standing next to this rock and I can just look and it appears to be next to me in 3 dimensions. Like I don't need some hella HD graphics for that to be exciting to me. It's finally gonna make a lot of us feel like we're on these planets that we've been exploring, and that's really exciting.
Right. I think the way to do it too would be just to like make everything up close, like super crystal clear, but like everything far away, like what you don't really care about, make all that like super like like fuzzy or crappy or whatever.
Right.
Because they could turn the draw distance like way down for the VR mode, because you don't like want to see that far away in VR. It's more of what's right in front of you. So maybe that will be what they're gonna have to do to like make it like run like super well in VR.
Yeah, and that's probably what they did because no one that's played it on PlayStation VR has mentioned anything about the draw distance. The only thing that they've really talked about is the scale of everything. That everything seems
Exactly.
really big. So maybe that's what they did is they put all the attention on what's nearest to you, and they kind
Right.
of lower the level of detail for things that are further away.
Right. You know that video that Sean Murray talked about how like when you're in space, how it's like like one like I forget what he called it, but like how it's just like a overview of what you're seeing. Then when you get closer, it gets more detail, more detail, more detail, more detail. So it's probably just like that, but in reverse, where everything like super far away will be like, okay, we're not going to even like bother showing that. We'll just show you like, what's right in front of you because you're not going to be paying attention to what's like super far away.
Right. That would make sense because then they could retain some level of fidelity up close.
Level of
Um,
detail, right?
yeah, and then just let everything kind of be grainy on the more distant things.
Right.
Man, this planet's full of goddamn surprises. We've got some new people in chat here, so it looks like we've got No Man's Sky Adventures says hello there, chum. What is going on, dude? Um, Vascarn says been subscribed to LZ since his Cosmic Confusion video back in 2015. He does make good content. Yeah, bro, people are sleeping on that guy. They're sleeping on him.
Yep.
Enrico Bendita says a more fleshed out galaxy map to be able to bookmark stuff like an Elite. Exactly, dude. Exactly. No Man's Sky Adventure says pretty cool planet. Those caves and pools are sweet. Dude, I don't know if you saw the stream earlier, like about 30, 40 minutes ago. No Man's Sky Adventures, but you might want to go back and check it out again. This planet has some of the largest and most expansive cave systems I've ever seen in this game, above and beneath the water, like on land and in the ocean. Like I'm talking really scary, wide, eerie caves. Um, yeah, it's awesome. Um, No Man's Sky Adventure says, no, sorry, just tuned in. We'll watch back for sure. Looks cool. Yeah, dude. This place has some epic caves. Really epic caves. You might want to watch back anyway, because Dave Langer has been hitting me with some good talking points here regarding just some No Man's Sky Beyond stuff, and we kind of touched on the launch of the game. And while you're in the chat, I kind of want to get your thought on this, No Man's Sky Adventures. So I'm kind of under the impression, or the belief at least, that the reason why we have the game that we have right now is because of the terrible launch they had back in 2016 with all the backlash. That it allowed them to continue to work on the game in secret, and then once they got the game how they wanted it, which me and Dave Langer believe to be, Atlas Rises, is probably what they wish they would have released in August 2016. Then they were able to kind of sit back and listen to the community and add all these great features that we see now. So it's almost like, in a weird turn of events, all of the tragedy and all of the issues with the launch somehow led to this amazing comeback in the game that we have today. Of course, now that No Man's Sky Adventures is in the chat, I cannot seem to find an epic cave. Ah, hold on. Is she gonna open up for me back here? Out of context, that was probably a very weird sentence. Alright, let's see. Darren Harris says, agreed. What's going on, Darren Harris? Thanks for stopping by, man. We got No Man's Sky Adventure says, is this PC running Vulkan? Nope, this PS4 Pro is running whatever Sony gave it.
I wonder if they're going to do a patch for PS4 and Xbox One.
What do you mean?
Like an optimized patch before it comes out to see how the game runs before they add the update.
Yeah, I would hope so. Hey, we got Stevenson's cousin. For those that have been to the FDI capital of Anya, you'd know exactly who Stevenson is.
So how do you think the new menu system is gonna work?
I know exactly how it's going to work. I read an extensive article of Sean Murray essentially breaking it down.
Oh, did he?
Um,
Nice. What do you say?
so this is really good news. So apparently, what he said was, whenever they were developing the game for VR, they noticed a lot of issues with just quality of life stuff, with how you access menus and manage
Mm-hmm.
inventory. And he said that they had to take a lot of that stuff out because it was really annoying in VR. And the VR experience was so cool that they needed to trim out anything that took away from that experience, and they wanted you to be able to focus on the exploring and the immersion.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that they did, for example, is now when you go to access your menu, and this works in and outside of VR, rather than it pop up the screen that it pops up now, the character lifts their arm
Yep.
up and a display appears. And
Mm-hmm.
the menus have the pages are set up a little bit differently, and they're accessed differently in the way that you can transfer items between areas, all that kind of stuff. So just the aesthetic and the look of it is going to be different
Yep.
based on what they had to do for VR, so that it's I guess it's more realistic in the sense that the character is interacting with their exosuit to access these things, as opposed to just a random interface popping up.
Yeah, I heard the hand thing. How it'll show up on your hand. But it wasn't clear how you're gonna like move stuff around or like make stuff or.
Well, in VR, you point at it. I don't know how that mechanic will change for when you're not in VR, but
I
you
wonder
can
if it'd be
point
like
and
a.
grab.
I wonder if it'd be like how like when you can like make a blueprint, right? How they have like the it's like what, like 50 things you can make. Maybe you can just it's like a scroll wheel, like when you're at like what do you call it? Like when you're trying to pick, like like iTunes, or you're trying to pick a movie, how you like scroll your finger and you can like do the artwork of the album,
Right.
like on the old school iPods. Maybe it'll be like that for all your blueprints. So you just like moving your finger until I pick the one you want to pick. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you keep scrolling to the left or right, so it's all just like a big picture in a row.
Yeah, like tiles and tabs.
Like tiles, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how the old school, like, iTunes was on the iPod Touch. Like, they would have this the album artwork, and you could just like, push to the left or right, and the artwork would come up and like just like, pass by it.
I'm going back to the cave entrance just so No Man's Sky Adventures can kind of get a look see. Okay, now I'm curious. I never noticed that before. I gotta see that. What's in here? All right, before I get myself lost again, let me get out of here.
That could be a good pivot drop though. Like, just a quick video on like, how the quality of life stuff got updated, like the menu system and like, whatever else.
I hope that they drop, like, if they're making a lot of changes to things like that, I hope they drop a tutorial of just how to use it, like how it works.
Yeah.
But
But
who
again,
knows?
if it's intuitive, then they won't have to, you know.
That's true. It's kind of like an iPhone. Like I'm an Android phone user, but like
Yeah.
I've never owned an iPhone in my life, but I just know how to use one because it's just one of those things where it's like once it's in your hands, it's like, oh, I know
No,
what this
right.
is. This makes sense. This feels familiar.
Yep. Yep.
Let's go check out that other comm ball, which is what I said I was going to do like 45 minutes ago. But I went spelunking. Alright. I'm assuming that's going to be Marty Merrick's comm ball because he came exploring on this planet, and I bet wherever he put that comm ball is probably near something interesting.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do hope we get though is like more trophies and more milestones.
Yes, that would be sick. The
And also,
PlayStation
okay,
trophies I don't care about so much, but yeah, more in-game milestones.
yeah. And the trophies are good for like to strive for stuff. Um, but yeah, more milestones are more important than trophies. Um, for sure.
Oh, is that for Marty? Yeah, Marty. Deep caves await. Okay. Oh, I can
Oh,
already
that's right.
tell.
They freaking changed that, didn't they? Oh, I hate that change. The navigation data thing for the ship calling, not the chip.
Hmm. We've got like thunderstorms right now where I'm at in Texas, and like I've been seeing so much like lightning flash through my patio door window, and
Oh, that's crazy.
I've been paranoid this whole time that like the power's gonna go out.
Yep. Knock on wood, right?
Hmm. Let me check out the chat real quick. No Man's Sky Adventure said, I feel Sean's vision was like the covers of sci-fi writers of the 70s and 80s, and I feel like the E3 trailers are closer in appearance to Chris Foss' art style. Yeah, to be honest,
He kind of said that too in the old interviews.
yeah, but see that the thing with me regarding that though is like, um, are my dogs barking? Hold on one second. Bella, don't wake mommy up. The thing with me though is like the art style wasn't really what captured me. It's that the idea of the exploration of the endless possibilities, the endless worlds. I love sci-fi as much as the next guy, but I love the sci part of it more. Like to be a bit more grounded in reality, I guess. Um, I didn't like the cartoony sort of like cell shaded look.
Yeah, same here. I think the look now is perfect, and they shouldn't leave it the look, you know.
Come here.
how it
Charlie.
is now. Just had more stuff.
Um, but I know that that's been a big point for a lot of people is the game doesn't look like it did at E3, and that's kind of what sold them on it. But that's the thing that sold me the least. To me it seems like the further the game got away from that, the more I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish they had better creatures. That I want to see better AI and better animations for the animals.
Yep. And
Because
plants too.
and plants, especially like plants that can attack you. Like I'm glad that they added more than just the whipping plant, but like I need more still. But
Right. And they need to make the plants and animals all look different from each other because, like, if you go to a cold planet, for example, like, you'll see the same animals in every cold planet, or the trees are all the same. They gotta, like, change that. So when you go to one cold planet or you go to another, it'll look, like, vastly different. Or a lush planet, same thing. They all can't look too similar because after a while you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, it's a lush planet. I know how it's going to look. I'm not going to bother going there.
I disagree a little bit. I think that by
Hmm.
making life forms much more rare, then it'll feel a lot less like things look familiar. Also, too, if you think about now, this just goes back to my mind of being more grounded in reality a bit more,
Yeah.
as opposed to the fiction part of it. But if you think about the requirements of life and like what would be necessary, a lot of creatures would evolve in nearly the same way. So a lot of creatures would have a lot more things in common than they would probably have different about them
Hmm.
because of the requirements of life. Like if you think about in real life, like if you were to come across aliens from a habitable world, it's likely that they would look very identifiable because they would have had to have evolved under similar circumstances.
Right, but think of it like Star Trek or like, for example, how like they have all those like different aliens, like how they all look different, but they're also kind of similar. I mean more like that than just like, you'll see one animal who like, looks one way, then you go to another planet, like cold planet. Oh, they look the same, like they're a different color. You know what I mean? They can look similar, but like they have so many different parts they could put on that like animal. It's like why not just do that?
Like
Then and
just go crazy with it and like just make it all super different.
yeah, because like if you look at the old interviews like that he had when he would show off like the different like the ship palettes or the animal palettes, it's like oh look, we have this one animal and like it can look like 50 different ways. But like we never got that. We just get the same animal that might have a different color or like maybe a different tusk, but like they're not that much different. Whereas before he was saying you probably wouldn't find two that were like that similar, but we still kind of do, you know.
Right. I think that so one of the things that we don't see in the game is fur, right?
Hmm.
I think maybe trying to incorporate things like that would help as well, like
Oh, for
hair,
sure. Yep,
fur.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah, if you could do like fur and then like hair and then like scales like to a they kind of have that now, but not
what I hope
but
they
by adding
don't
that would
do
help too.
with the walking NPCs aspect is I hope that they don't put them fucking everywhere. Like I hope they try really hard not to do that. Like
I agree.
in space stations and especially in my freighter, I want to see them walking around appearing to do
Yep.
tasks, but I don't want to see them on every planet at every like outpost like just constantly walking around.
Well, I think you and me are in agreement that like 90% of the planet shouldn't even have life on it.
Yeah.
You know, just make the 10% have life. Um, that way, that's more realistic. And then you can go like super, because doing it that way, you would get so much more variation because you could have like a ton of different types of like exotic planets, or you could have like gas planets that you could like mine stuff from, and a lot of different type of like barren planets of different materials. You know, just have one full of just like copper or like lead or whatever. That would also help with variation if you have like different types of like dead planets.
Yeah, like I fucking miss dead planets. We've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
I miss dead planets. Most of my screenshots are of just terrible fucking planets. Like like no life pieces of shit.
And like even with that type of shit, like you have a dead, quote unquote, dead planet. Maybe like if you find a cave underground, you might find like one life form under there, like some like weird looking one. But you have to like search it out. And maybe when you go to a dead planet, it won't say like, oh, life form like 0 or 0. It might be like a question mark, so you don't know if it's life or not. There could be, there might not be, like underground or like somewhere on the planet.
Right. I like things to feel like I discovered them. And
Right.
so the more barren or the more like empty it feels, then I feel more immersed in the feeling that like I discovered it. You don't see this kind of grass that often anymore. I like that this planet has it. This like grass with the bulbs at the end of it.
Mhm.
You used to see that used to be like most of the grass in
Yeah.
1.1.
The one thing I do worry about though with the VR coming, that they'll go in the different direction and like add more life to the game, so people will see like more, like more animals or like more like lush planets because they want to see it in VR.
Yeah,
I just hope they don't. I just hope they don't do that.
they're gonna everything
That's
has
that's
been
that's my
getting.
big point about VR holding the game back. That they're gonna like go in the wrong direction.
I don't think it's gonna hold it back. I think if anything it's gonna put it in more people's hands and give Hello Games more of a reason to continue developing on it for the next several years because
Hmm.
there's millions like PlayStation VR sold 4.2 million copies since release. It's only been out a
Yep.
couple of years. It is the most highly sold VR system in the entire world. It's the PlayStation VR gaming
Yep.
system. So, but there's not a lot of great games for it. You know, you've got Bravo Team and Farpoint, and there's a few AAA titles, but for the most part, there's not a lot of games for it. So there's Battlezone, I guess, Eve Valkyrie. So there's 4.2 million people that own this thing, and
Hmm.
I guarantee you they're using their VR 5% of the time that they play games or less because there's no good experiences. You know,
Oh, right.
everything is really small. Everything is like Gran Turismo VR experience, Battlefront 1 VR experience,
Like Eighth Combat has like what, 2 missions in VR
two
or
like
whatever.
2 or 3 missions, yeah, which are excellent, but that's all it has.
Right. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that like No Man's Sky is gonna sell like VR, or that will be probably the game that PlayStation will harp, not harp. What's that word I'm looking for? Like will like hang their hat on for VR. Like, hey, look, you know.
Oh, they're going to
Um,
do it better than anyone else has ever tried to.
but my point is, so like for game wise, like where it should be going and where it's gonna go, it might go like more life everywhere, like more cool looking planets, and not like how we want like more dead planets, where it's like a rare find to find a cool looking planet.
Yeah, I do worry about that. I don't think it's gonna take away a lot of my enjoyment from playing, but
Oh no, it won't. But it won't make discovery is unique.
right. And the thing is that Sean Murray mentions it. He always says that the game is about exploration, and that feeling of feeling alone was an
Hmm.
important emotion that they wanted to capture, or feeling that they wanted to capture. So he says it all the time, but then they're doing the opposite thing, and it's because
That's what I
they're
mean.
they're
Yeah,
listening
exactly.
to the community, but the community doesn't really know what it wants. It's like the community wanted more lush planets when they didn't have it, then they got it and they want it less, and it's like it's like they're fickle. It's like it's okay to kind of listen to them and like like or us and like add certain things to the game or certain ideas to the game, but you can't try everything because we think we want it, and when we get it we realize that we didn't.
Right.
It's just it's like the grass is greener kind of thing.
Right.
um
I mean, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to catch up on the chat here. So No Man's Sky Adventures, so the last thing that we read was the Chris Foss art style. No Man's Sky Adventures says, I still feel like we're lacking a lot, but at the same time gain lots of cool stuff like base building. Base building is one of the biggest technical achievements that they've managed to pull off in this game,
Hmm.
because space, which I hope they touch on in Beyond, has been relatively untouched since the launch of the game. And planetary exploration, whether you believe this or not, has been good the entire time. Um, but base building inside of your freighter on planets, the complexity of it now, how well it seems to run most of the time, in a procedurally generated environment, it's a huge crowning achievement for them. It's really really crazy. Um, it says watch my news video on the 15th of April. I really go into detail. Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. By the way, guys, click on the icon on the icon for No Man's Sky Adventures, and subscribe to the channel, and check out that video as well. Um, No Man's Sky Adventures says, I hope that the third thing is diversity and variance. Somebody
Yep.
echoing your very same sentiment, Langer. Uh, Far more
Definitely.
biomes, mixed biomes, NPCs actually doing things, not just moving. So driving
Yep.
exocrafts, for example, that's a very good point. I think me and Dave will agree with you on that one. Darren Harris says, I love that planet. Oh, me too, bro. And you're probably going to like this one a lot too, because this planet is interesting as well, but in a different way. Um, No Man's Sky
Oh,
Adventure says,
are you showing your game right now?
uh-huh,
No, I mean that I can hop into that planet or no?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Jump in if you're on, yeah, join my game.
All right, let me see. Let me quit.
Um, I'll just actually send you an invite.
Yeah, do that might be easier. Yeah, it's not showing join game. It's not showing you on here.
I tend to show myself missing a lot, like offline.
Yep. Well, maybe they fixed that. If you like hiding online, it won't show up anymore.
That's what it seems to be like. All right, sent you an invite, so you should be able to join now.
Cool.
So now we're kind of like in a private lobby. I bet if we were both not showing online, we could explore
I'm not
without
showing
worrying
either,
about without having drop-ins.
but
Um,
I don't think that worked.
your life support is getting low. Yep. Adventurers says also with like a major differences
Oh,
in
there
their
we go.
culture expressed via their architecture, better building designs. The Gek should be lavish, covered in precious stones and minerals and Viking bones and etc. That's a very good point. All of the buildings all seem like they were built by one race, even though there's three major races in the game,
Yeah, they
and
gotta fix that too.
that's not including like the crazy diversity of traveler species out there, and all of those you know species would have a different influence in their architecture. Very, very good point. Um, I think the bright colors would burn your eyes in VR. I would like to still come across cell shaded art like we do on the monochrome worlds, or if they made the universes different. That's a very good point. Like going into like one of the different universes or dimensions or whatever you call them, like Hilbert or Calypso, that universe would have the E3 art style. So you know, I guess it could be done that way. Never really thought about that. Um,
Yeah, I would just make it filter based.
yeah, exactly.
Like
Um,
so it's like you have like, E3 filter or like, like carbon filter or they had that before but they took it out for some reason.
yeah, that's weird. Rather
That
than
might be VR by the way.
255, say 16 to match the glyphs, so the whale one might have space whales and larger fauna. I don't really care to see space whales. Whereas the Diplo one would have larger flora and long-legged neck or necked fauna. That's a great point. The Sunrise universe could be all cel-shaded art style. Actually, this would make a great video. I will shut up and make one. Yeah, I'll check it out when you do. Dead planets. It would be cool to have a terraformer. You place it. It's about 10 times the size of a base build radius, and also adds a base computer in the middle. But then you pick a biome. So check this out, No Man's Sky Adventures. Imagine like what we have right now with the uncharted planets. Imagine when you discover those planets, you have to place like a beacon or build a structure, and then it sends out a signal to notify other races and territories that you've discovered a system that has resources, and then now you have control of the economy in that system, and space stations and all these things start arriving, and it's all because you discovered it. I think that's a mechanic that's been missing since day one that they should add, so that right now when you discover quote unquote a star system, generally speaking, someone's already there. The uncharted systems are the only
Right.
ones that are not like that, and it would be nice if you could discover it and then change it. Not necessarily terraforming it, but at least you know. Right now, when you discover an uncharted system, it just remains uncharted. You can name it whatever you want, but no NPCs ever show up, no matter what you do. So that they could make it to where that changes. Um, let's see here. Use your favorite discoveries to populate the area. Yep. Then once you have the community, you end up with these pockets of life favorite discoveries. Only have a terraformer open to those that reach the center. That would be awesome. Sort of combating. Yeah. And these are all great ideas. Single player mod if you wish to play alone. Trust me, if you want to be alone, you can be alone in this game. Most of the time that I play, I'm by myself. That Uncharted idea is awesome. That would work well with the Terraformer idea. Yeah, dude, I've been thinking about the whole. uh, I wanted that before Next even hit, and we had Uncharted Planets. I always had an issue with discovering a star system that already had people in it. It never made sense to me, and
Yeah.
I want them to change that. So we got some more lore here. So memories of the Senarbi. So, memories imbued into the rock long ago by ancient Gek channel into my brain. I recoil, but I am compelled to somehow understand. Driven by the misguided desire for planetary equilibrium, the Korvax refused to delve deep inside their planet and profit from the jewel granted them by fate. Their love for the dire will of the Sentinels was abhorrent to the Gek. Swift was their end brought about by the first Fawn's strike. Seek knowledge of the past. Nothing found. The son of a bitch. Were you able to join my game, Dave?
No, it didn't work.
Didn't work. Okay, so I guess no. I sent you a game invite, but let me try it again.
All right, that worked that time. Let's see.
I think I might have
Join.
accidentally sent it to Cuz.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go. Good old Cuz. Well, But what do you want for space exploration?
My vision of a space update for No Man's Sky is lofty and probably will never happen, but I'll
Go
tell you.
for it. You have the floor.
So, okay. So, what I would like to see is certain promises that were made being kept. We were told no load screens. The warp
Hmm.
screen is in fact a load screen, and we all can
Right.
admit that that's true.
Yes.
We were told that there were no skyboxes, but the star systems are exactly that. They are, in fact, skyboxes. It's just essentially a skybox, and each world is a different level. And they need to open it. Take away the warp animation, open the skybox. When you open up your galactic map, imagine this. You open up your galactic map, you select a plot or a point that you're going to travel to.
Hmm.
Now here's where things get interesting. When you select that point that you're going to travel to, it drops you out of the galactic map, and then now that's highlighted in the very space that you're playing in. Okay, um, so that essentially you have to then maneuver your ship towards the star system that you've selected that shows
Like
up
elite.
in like Elite, and then you can pulse drive to it, but a faster
Hmm.
version of pulse drive, one that you can steer in. The fact that the game's been out for almost 3 years now, we still can't steer in pulse drive, pisses me off. Like I have to drop out of pulse drive just to turn, and
Yep.
in the vacuum of space, it doesn't make any sense. Um, so I want to see that. So I want to see that sort of detail be put in. It doesn't pull you out of the game. In fact, it increases the immersion that you experience because now you're connecting those star systems in the in-game map with the actual constellations that you see in the night sky on any planet and in any system that you're in. And then you're openly traveling to those areas, um, without interruption, without load screens, without separate animations. And I think it would be cool that if along the way, procedurally, certain events can occur. Like as you're
Like get
traveling,
jumped.
well, like you're traveling between star systems, and then all of a sudden, you get a kind of like how you get hailed, and you get the little thing that the little communication that
Interjection.
pops up. Yeah. So you get hailed essentially, or you get a notification on your dash that says, like, hey, you know, uh, we've received a signal from a starliner that has, been attacked or that is derelict.
Hmm.
Would you like to deviate and explore this thing? And then you can select that, and then now you drop out of hyperspace or whatever, and you can approach this like derelict freighter that you can dock with, and then enter and go explore around and find things. Like I want more to do in space.
I
No,
agree.
no, No Man's Sky has done the planets better than anybody ever. The planetary exploration, they can keep improving it, but it's pretty on point. There's nothing else that even compares to it at all. Nothing else out there compares to it. Um, so that part of it's fine. Let's take that to space. I want to see that. I want not only the derelict freighters, but hostile enemies along the way. Maybe pirates will attack you en route. Maybe other players can craft a scanner in their starships that will scan for rare resources, and they can detect that your ship is carrying rare resources, and then they can follow you to your destination. Just things like that. And I could go on forever about it, but there's so much that can be done. with the space aspect of it. I want planetary
Yeah,
rotations.
I
I
do
want
too. In like orbit.
yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated because the game has to still be somewhat arcadey and approachable for players to easily be able to participate in. That's one of the beautiful things about this game is anybody of any age can pick this up and enjoy it. So that they've got to find a way to maintain that. But I want a star to be at the center of its solar system. I want the planets to be rotating it. I want the load screens to go away, and I want the warp animation to go away.
Here's my thing about rotation and all that. Like they could do it like almost on like an 8 hour cycle.
Right.
So like you don't really notice it unless you sit there for like an hour and then like you'll see it like move. Um, and even the orbit, the same thing. Like have it be like maybe like a 12-hour orbit or whatever they want to do for that. Um, just like if you're paying attention, you'll see it, but it won't like take away from the game and
Right.
make people confused. If they fly to one planet, oh wait, where the hell did that planet go now? Like in that game session, you might not notice, but if you sit there long enough, you will. Um,
Well, originally when the game was being play tested, that's kind of how it was. Like in the pre-release trailers, you can see
right.
that planets were orbiting around like something, you
Yeah,
know?
they shot Mario left like the controller down for a minute, the Taitaka or something, and like the moon or whatever like moved a lot.
Yeah. So it was there at one point, you know?
Yeah, he said they took it up because people playtesting and got too confused, which is kind of like, come on, dude.
Yeah, fuck them. Whatever. Doesn't
Um,
confuse people in Elite.
right.
Yeah, I want that back. I gotta have that.
But I agree too, like stuff like you could have like broken down or desolate like like freighters in space that you go in might like spawn a mission in there or something just stuff like that is what they need. Or hell, you find like a broken down like freighter in space, and like you get a mission to like fix it up, and you can like take it. You know.
Yeah, No Man's Sky Adventure says NPC wingmen, shipyards, abandoned freighters, spacewalking, mining communities,
Yeah.
vessels, a real sun. Yeah, all of these are great, man. Like we're
Holy
hung
crap!
we're hungry for that.
Like fuel rats.
Yeah, it's like we get it. Like the game has to be approachable. I don't want it to be like Elite because I find most of the time that Elite's very boring. I don't want it to be Elite, but there's a lot of things that Elite does really well that this game could learn from and incorporate, and some attention does need to be placed on that because
Yeah.
I don't know, like the planetary exploration, done, got it. Underground and underwater exploration, all right, done, got it. Like the look of the planets, the art style, the colors, moons, all right, got it. Give us weather, give us more shit, give us walking NPCs, better missions, give us space. And I think that it's going to be a space update. I really do because they called it Beyond, and I think that that's very telling.
Right. I agree.
They know that people who like sci-fi, which is like 99.9% of who plays this game, they know that when those people hear the word Beyond, they think of space. So there's no way they don't. Man, both of these planets are terrific. This purple planet is just awesome.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I can't use photo mode when I'm. I forgot about that.
Oh, in multiplayer, because you just keep moving.
Yeah, it shit still moves. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right. It's still gonna move. You can do it, but it's tougher to like get shit done. Um, Yeah, I mean, I agree, dude. They need to have more of that stuff in the game. Even like gas giants, where you can like mine, like super gases from, or comets might be cool just to have, like when you're flying around.
Yeah. No Man's Sky Adventure says NPC wingmen for missions, better bounties, pirate freighters and bases, space stations, bounties on other players that grief or upset communities. Yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah,
Red Dead is like working on a mechanic like that if they haven't already done it. Like if you grief a player, you get a bounty in your head that other players can claim.
yeah.
That'll teach people
The
real
way I
quick
would
not to
do,
grief.
yeah, the way I would do PvP in the update is how they have like the planet like systems, like they alert how some are like warring, some are peaceful. Make the PvP areas be like warring or belligerent or whatever. Then the peaceful ones can be like PvE, where you can't attack other players. That way, the people that want to do PvP can go into the PvP areas, and the people that don't want to be griefed can go chill out in the PvP areas.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and then check this out. You're really good rewards and resources and like rare weapons and like ships and shit. Just put those in those PvP systems. You know, like you have to encourage people. Like,
well, right. Like you would have like all the good weapons and like that kind of stuff in the warring ones, but maybe in the peaceful ones have like the exploration like stuff, like the mining tools, or like the what do you call them? The explorer ships can be all in those like peaceful areas.
yeah,
That way you have a reason to go to each one.
based on your play style. That's smart.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it for sure.
Um, I think they should just go to one galaxy too. Don't have like friggin' 255. Let's make one giant one and sector it out.
Dude, I've been saying that since forever.
I mean, you can still have all 255, but you'll just like have them like in a spiral going out. You know.
When I
Um,
when I found out what the end game of the game was, I immediately was like, I'm never leaving Euclid. There's just no point.
right. I agree. Um, also, if you sector it out, you know, you could have like the lush area of like the galaxy for all the people that want like lush stuff like in Essentim. Then you could have like a section where it's like all dead planets, um, just map it out that way,
Right.
and have a PvP section that's just like every system is like warring and like war torn, and that's where all of the best like gear could be, because that would give people a reason to travel to each section, and don't let people just drop in. You have to like travel there, you know.
Yeah, I wonder. I've never really asked a lot of people, but I wonder how many people have a problem with the drop in, drop out co-op.
I hate it.
I don't really have that much of an issue with it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but at least from what I hear, but I don't really
Yeah,
listen
but
to it.
it just made the game too easy to like meet other people, and like it took away the exploration aspect. Like I said before, when you started the game and you want to go to like a hub, you had to do it the hard way and like travel do like 200 jumps or whatever, and you had to map it out and everything. But like once you got there, it was an accomplishment. Whereas now you just like, oh, I can drop in and just like be there in like 5 seconds.
Right.
And even with portals, you still have to go get all like like 11 or 16 to like get the cords to get there, but you still have to work to like to travel there. So I think they should take dropping out. Which they probably will, because they're gonna have like full player lobbies, and orbs not will be gone. So you'll see everybody anyway. So I'm curious how they're gonna like have people meet up.
Maybe sector it out, like you said,
Right.
because Sean Murray said that a lot of what they did was based on how they saw, or when they observed the community, how the community played the game.
Right.
So maybe, like we've got the, you've got Gamma Quadrant, Beta Quadrant, Alpha Quadrant,
Mm-hmm.
Delta Quadrant. Maybe they have like a terminus now that just takes you to a quadrant,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to old school fly to the different stars in that quadrant to access it.
Right. Or
So like that would be a cool way of doing it.
yeah, or like do it like the way they do it in like MMOs like World of Warcraft, where you'll have like all your factions. So let's say they have like 4, like like Gek, Viking, Korvax, and Traveler, and like you put one like hub in each section. So when you start the game, you'll say, okay, what faction you want to be a part of, and they'll drop you in that quote unquote city or hub, and that's where you'll start the game from. To like be with your friends, then you can like travel out from there.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I would do it, but
That's a really good solution. It's
that way
like
you have everyone together that wants to be together, and then if you want to meet other people or travel to a different hub, you can travel there.
but there's so many people spread out across the galaxy that it would be good if they just did it to where there's a certain type of space station, and it's a central space station for that quadrant, and it
Hmm.
terminuses you to other quadrants.
Well, that could be what that thing is in the that first like leaked video, not leaked, but that first like trailer. That thing in the background could be that.
And maybe
You know.
they get rid of just the regular terminuses altogether.
Well, they should probably still keep that between like you and your home base. But I mean, to like fast travel. But I mean,
True, true, true.
and it could be cool too if you have like your hub, the main like in like their hub, quote unquote hub cities that they do. Should be all like handmade by Hell Games, so make that like system be like super cool looking, and like they could build it out, and maybe even put those like E3 planets in the game that people want to go see. Because if you remember, during the ARG, like those planet names you could type into the WickedTitan.com, and you get some message about it's not available yet or something like that. So I'm still curious if they're gonna like handcraft those, those for the update at some point or some update.
That would be cool.
Because with VR, I would think they would want to handcraft a handful of planets or at least one system to give people like a super duper experience for VR.
I don't know if I'm on board with the handcrafting thing. Like, I think it would be cool, but I don't know if I'm on
Not for
board
the
with that.
hubs.
I mean, maybe. Yeah,
That way
yeah.
people will get like that way people will get to like cities like one city per hub, and that's all you really need like four, and it would keep the cities to be rare. Um, and that's where you can get all of like your quest and everything for your like your faction or your daily quest. You would all go to the central hub to like get all that stuff, and then like you would go like to the space stations or whatever to get like your side quest.
Hmm.
Kind of like like most MMOs do, like World of Warcraft or ESO or like Eve Online or whatever.
Eve Online has a really good faction building system, and I like how they sector space with null-sec, high-sec, low-sec,
Hmm.
and how you can start corporations where you can not only have people earn you ISK, but you can pay people ISK as well. Like,
Yep.
but that's pretty in depth. I do like Eve for that reason, but that's not No Man's Sky friendly. Oh, these are hella cool caves. What is with this star system and fucking caves? Oh my gosh. These caves are legit.
But I do hope you get a player economy too in the game.
Yeah, dude, like, why can't I sell shit to another player? Like, I can only just give someone something. Like, why?
Because like World of Warcraft, right? Like I used to play that, and like the boring correct people have to do like mine copper or mine this and mine that. People would just do that for hours and sell it on the auction house. You can make a crap load of money doing that, just like selling that. So imagine like doing that for No Man's Sky, like just like selling certain stuff that people want on like an auction house, then they can buy it. That could be like your job in the freaking game, you know. And like Sean Mario said, he kind of wanted that like in the game in the beginning. So that's one thing I really do hope they add to the game.
Yeah, just more
But for that, they'll have to have
player created experiences.
right.
Hey, do you have access to the live stream, by the way? My phone died.
I don't. I can get it if you want.
No, that's okay. I just
Okay.
I don't have a way to see the chat anymore. My
Oh,
phone
I closed my
literally died.
iPad. Hold on, I can pull it up.
Sorry, dude.
No, you're fine, dude. You are fine.
That's probably an indicator that I've gone too long.
Alright, there we go. Let me see. Larva Lamp said he never played multiplayer and has zero interest in playing multiplayer. Hopefully there'll be a single player and beyond.
It's 18 quintillion star systems. If you want to be alone, you
Right.
can be. I don't. I'm tired of modes. I don't think they need more modes. It's
Well,
like I
no,
get it.
right.
I get it. You know what I mean? Like most of the time when I play alone. Now, I like to do some PvP matches and build bases with my friends, but that's from time to time. Most of the time when I play, it's by myself. Like 90% of the time. So I 100% understand the desire to not participate in multiplayer. But when you're talking about that many star systems, um, you can be by yourself. And like you were talking about
Exactly.
before, Dave, with if they just fix the drop in, I guess, the drop out, then that would be a big benefit because then you could be alone and other players can't join your game. They should make it invite only. So, like, if you want to play with somebody else, they can invite you, or you can invite them, but you can come across other players. What do you think? You think that's a good balance, other than just randomly dropping into another person's game,
They shouldn't have a drop in at all. Just do it like
like
where
invite?
you're, not even an invite. Like, well, invite to a party if you can see other people. Yeah. So I would shut off all the icons for other players unless you invite people to like your party. Like we're in a party right now, where we can see our icons. Make it like that. Or you could just do it like Elite Dangerous, where you have like a solo mode, right? Like solo, like you're all in the same like game, but solo mode means only you can see like yourself and nobody else. Then have like open, which is everybody, and then have it like just have two, right? That way, when you're in solo, when you go into a system, you won't go into another player's instance. You'll go into your own and only you.
Gotcha.
Because that's probably how they're going to do it. If they have like a 16 player lobby, the first 16 players on that planet will be in that instance. So if you play solo, then you just would never get put with other people.
Hmm. I don't
Right?
know. Yeah, but I still think it could work like in invite only, but people can just find you. Like people, someone can just be exploring and they could just come across you.
Right, but I don't think Larva wants that.
Yeah, but what are the chances that somebody would come across you if you didn't
Well, if
invite
you're
them?
if you're in a hub to like do stuff, then you're gonna see other people.
Well, if you're in a hub, then you don't like playing alone.
Well, meaning like if you're gonna have like when I say hub, I mean like if you play on World of Warcraft solo, you'll go into like Ironforge and you'll see other people. I mean, you don't have to play with them, but you'll still see other people. Um, or maybe you can just play in offline mode where you can just turn off the what do you call it? Just turn off the connection for the internet. Then you won't see other people. That could work too.
Yeah, you should be able to, like, from your start menu, you should be able to toggle it.
Right. So maybe have it like
Well, so like
do you
right
want to
now it
play?
says can join my game anyone, or invite only, or friends only. So you kind of have
Mhm.
that control right now.
You have that now, right? Yeah.
I actually didn't know
Um,
that. I never noticed that.
yeah. And I think if they just have like solo or like open, then that's all you really need.
Yeah, solar open. That's simple
Yeah.
enough.
Yep.
But I think I'm gonna end the stream. I didn't plan on streaming that long.
Cool.
But I'd like to have you on the show more often. I love our conversations.
Yeah. If I'm like awake when you're on in the morning, I'll hop on.
Okay. All right, well,
Or
guys.
if you know you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, finish.
No, I said like if you know you're gonna like stream like the next morning, just tell me the day before, and I'll just make sure I'm up.
Oh, okay. And just know that if you see that I'm streaming, you're always welcome to join. So just like ask me to create like a party invite or whatever,
Yeah, sure.
and
Dude,
and
definitely.
you can jump in. But yeah, I just saw the time. Um, but yeah, guys. So I haven't been able to stream in a while. Just been busy with work. haven't had any content uploaded in a while, so I appreciate you guys coming by tonight and hanging out, or this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are. Um, for me, it's 3:45 in the morning, so I definitely have to get a bit.
Yeah, it's 4:30 here for me.
Yeah. So, um, but like I said, appreciate it. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, just make sure that you hit the subscription button. Um, Make sure you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't give a shit. Just interact with the channel somehow. And yeah, Dave, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for
You
jumping
too.
on the stream with me. And everybody have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, and yeah, Panda out. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I actually never noticed that before. So yeah, there you go. Good night, everyone.